Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, good day to you, depending where you are in the world. It's a nighttime devotion. We're reading from the devotional Lift Him Up. The title is Faithful Mothers Honoured in the Judgment. 1 Samuel 1, 27 and 28. I prayed for this child, and the Lord has granted me what I asked him. So now I give him to the Lord. For his whole life he will be given over to the Lord. The fulfillment of Hannah's vow to dedicate her child to the Lord was not deferred until he could be presented at the tabernacle. From the earliest dawn of intellect, she trained his infant mind to love and reverence God, and to regard himself as the Lord's. By every familiar object surrounding him, she sought to lead his thoughts up to the Creator. When separated from her child, the faithful mother's solicitude did not cease. He was the subject of her prayers. Would that every mother could realize how great are her duties and her responsibilities, and how great will be the reward of faithfulness. The mother's daily influence upon her children is preparing them for everlasting life or eternal death. She exercises in a home a power more decisive than the minister in the desk, or even the king upon his throne. The day of God will reveal how much the world owes to godly mothers for men who have been unflinchingly advocates of truth and reform. Men who have been bold to do and dare, who have stood unshaken amid trials and temptations. Men who chose the high and holy interests of truth and the glory of God before worldly honor or life itself. When the judgment shall sit and the books shall be opened, when the well done of the great judge is pronounced, and the crown of immortal glory is placed upon the brow of the victor, many will raise their crowns in sight of the assembled universe, and pointing to their mother say, "She made me all that I am through the grace of God." Her instruction, her prayers have been blessed to my eternal salvation. God has ordained that with families and nations, or with individuals, virtue is the basis of happiness. By the thoughts and feelings cherished in early years, every youth is determining his own life history. Correct, virtuous, manly habits formed in youth will become part of the character, and will usually mark the course of the individual through life. The youth may become vicious or virtuous as they choose. Young men of today may become as precious in the sight of the Lord as was Samuel. They may have their names enrolled in the book of life, to be looked upon with pleasure by the monarch of the universe and the angelic host. By faithfully maintaining their Christian integrity, the young may, like the noble Luther, exert a mighty influence in the work of reform. Such men are needed at this time. God has a position and a work for every one of them. Mothers, you have a great work to do, if you are not doing it already, to pray for your children, not just your sons, your children, your sons and your daughters, to point them to God. Hannah, when she knew she was going to have a baby, she committed her son to God. The fulfillment of Hannah's vow to dedicate her child to the Lord was not deferred. From the earliest dawn of intellect, she trained this baby to love and reverence God and to regard him as the Lord's. So he grew up knowing he was God's. So she instilled it in his mind. And then when she was separated from him, she continued to pray for him. And then what's also very important, when they start to grow and make their own decisions through their own mind, their own thoughts, by the thoughts and feelings cherished in early years, every youth is determining his own life history. Correct, virtuous, good habits formed in youth will become part of the character and will usually mark the course of the individual through life. The youth may then become vicious or virtuous, depending how they choose. And this isn't youth, this is us now. Doesn't matter your age, it's us now. We now still choose vicious or virtuous. It's our choice, right here, right now.